Hello guys and gals, Josh here. I wanted to take this video. I know my last video I talked about the control, and the amount that we have, the amount that we don't have. And I wanted to take this video to kind of elaborate but allow it to have its own video because it's separate in the same sense. So the last video that I brought out talked about control, and what I wanted to do with this one is take that next step and kind of talk about the influence that we give and the influences we receive. Um, it's crazy to think about the amount of influence you as a person gives other people, and I know that a lot of people don't really think about that. They think more so about how other people influence them. Like, I can list off so many people that have influenced me in the 23 years on Earth thus far, and it's insane the amount of influence, good influence, bad influence, in between influence that I've been I've experienced. And then I started to think about, well, how much of an influence have I given off to other people? And maybe people don't really say anything about it. I mean, it's not like I go to the people that have influenced me greatly and say, thank you. I mean, I have with a lot of people, but there's so many people that have influenced me, yeah, more than you know. And so when you throw it around and think about the people you influence, it really starts to make you think, how am I going to influence them tomorrow and the next day and the next day? If you have that kind of mindset about the amount of influence you give off, because it's a lot, your everyday attitude, your everyday persona could influence someone. I have a tattoo on my back, Galatians 6 verse 9. Do not grow weary of doing good, for in due season you will reap if you do not give up. And that's been on my back for the better part of 4 years. And so I don't even see it sometimes. It's on my back. And there's been a couple times, but this one that really resonated with me was I was probably doing arms or something, just working out, and this guy comes up to me near tears. He says that verse really spoke to me, and he went on to elaborate how he had some issues he was going through, and how that Bible verse really allowed him to see things in a different picture. Do not grow weary of doing good, for you will reap if you do not give up. And how magical that really is if you think about it. What your version of good is, what makes your heart feel good. Do not give up on it. Doesn't matter if everybody else is saying, what are you doing? If you feel in your heart of hearts that it's good, it's what you should be doing, do not give up, because you will reap the reward. Reaping is the same thing as consequences. There's good and bad. You will reap if you do not give up. But anyway, it influenced that guy, and I've never met him before. And it changed him in a way. And so it makes you really think about who you could influence on a day-to-day basis. Smiling at someone that you've never met could change their whole day. You have no idea. And if we as people really start to think about that and have that mindset on a day-to-day basis, you could make such a difference. You really could. And it's amazing to think about. I could influence that guy in a good way. I could push him in the right direction. I could influence that guy bad, good, whatever. And so it brings me to what I wanted to title this video as, and it's leading by example. We as people, especially in today's society, everyone has an opinion. So if you go around saying, hey, this is how things work, hey, this is how you should do things, you'll be like, well, who are you to know? But if you lead by example, and what I mean by that is just be the best person you can be. And say, for instance, you want to you want to influence somebody instead of shoving it down their throat. Lead by example, and that's the best way, because if you are walking around being the best person you can be and being the person you want to reflect yourself as, and it's right and it's good, someone's going to be like, well, how did you get there? And then they're ready to be malleable, and then they're ready to be bended and mended and molded. And that's the thing about, I guess, everyone, but our generation too, is there's a lot of people that are not susceptible to be molded. They're stuck on their ways, and that's fine. But there's so many different beliefs that we could have that could be changed. We have no idea. I'm very, very adamant about my belief, and I still know that it could completely be wrong. Who knows? But I believe what I believe because of how I feel, and I'll do a whole video about my beliefs and religious views and all this stuff. Sure, I want you all to know me as much as you possibly can, because that's what I feel like right now that I should be doing, is leading by example, showing anybody that I can that there is such thing as a life that can be happy, just happy, that everyone can actually accomplish their life goals. They can be happy. They can wake up doing what they feel is right and going to bed accomplished about that day, and they take each day at a time. There's so many people now that are just living to contribute to society. They're working a job they don't necessarily want to work. And I will talk this bit every day if I can. I'm sure I've said it in my previous videos, and I'll say it in my future videos. There are people that live their everyday contributing to society, and that's all they're doing. They're working a job they don't really like working, and they got that job because they got a degree, and now they're paying off that degree. You're set up to work so you can go to school, and then once you get done with school, you can then work at a higher paying job, but you're mountains in debt, so you got to pay off the debt. It's an endless circle, and it's miserable. You wake up every morning knowing that you got to work this job you don't love in order to pay off your loans, in order to survive. Because isn't that all what we're doing, is surviving? I wasn't asked to be put on here. I'm glad I'm on Earth, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't asked. I didn't ask. I didn't ask my mom to birth me. You didn't ask your mom to birth you. And so this is just one big, giant game, and we're all just trying to survive it. I mean, what if that's what it was? It's just a game. This is all a game. We're on here to what if that's all it was? What if we were on this earth simply to feel it? Feel emotions, good and bad. But so many people take it so seriously that they miss out on so many things that they can experience as a person. I believe that it is possible for each and every one of us to live a life that is meaningful to us, because our definition of meaningful can change based off of how you perceive meaningfulness. My perception of it could be different than yours. Right now, I think the most meaningful life I can live is if I get accredited in health and life coaching, and learn philosophy as much as I can, and envelop the best self-growth techniques I can, and then relay them out to as many people as I possibly can, and lead by example by doing it. I'm not perfect. Far from it. No one's perfect. But we can always strive to be the best version of ourselves we can be. Because no one's lived your life. No one's lived my life. Only me. Only you. That's the control that we have, is our life. How we react to our feelings. We can't control how we feel, needless to say, but we can control how we react to the way we feel. That's what I was talking about in my last video. And so, no one's lived this life, so live the best life you can. Be the happiest person you can be, to you. Live your life for you, no one else. It's your life. Live your life for you. Lead by example. Do what you believe's good, so you can sleep better at night. This whole playing this game all seriously, working jobs you don't want to work, you get stuck that way. Because then you get kids, then you get a house mortgage, and then you have to work that job you don't want to work, and that's miserable. No. You don't have to do that. It shouldn't be a priority. If that makes sense. And so for those who are ready to be molded, ready to be malleable, ready to be the best versions of themselves, have the mindset that everything is exploratory. You're living each day the first time. What is today? The 12th, June 12th of 2019. We've never lived this day. We never will. We will never live another June 12th of 2019. This is a new day. It's a new adventure. It's a new experience. It's exploratory. Who knows what tomorrow brings? I got way too much today to worry about tomorrow. You know? And it's a beautiful thing if you view it that way. If you choose to perceive it as beautiful, it will be. And it can be a beautiful thing. You think about where you were exactly a year ago, be it better than you are now or worse than you are now. The point is, inside of a year, 1 year, so much can change. 1 year. So, think about dedicating a year to your self-growth, to having the best mindsets you can have for you, and perceiving yourself as a better person you have for a long time, or ever. You can really get somewhere. And that's kind of what I've dedicated this year for, so far, and I'm having a good year. But that's because I choose to view it as a good year. Of course, I've had some really bad things happen this year. But does that mean I have to identify it as a bad year? No. No, because a lot of good things have happened this year. And I choose to identify it as a good year. And perceive it every day as a good day. And odds are I'm going to have more good days and bad days if I have that mindset. I know it's hard for a lot of people to have that mindset. Believe me, I've been there. But the whole point that I'm trying to make with this story video, is lead by example. We can't change people. We don't have that control. All we have control over is us, our individual selves. And so, lead by example. Be the best version of yourself you can be. And if you don't feel like you're the best version of yourself, then start taking the steps to get there. And what I mean by taking the steps is it's your mindset. And you'll get there. And it'll take time. But be the best version of yourself you can be today. And then worry about tomorrow. And then the next day. And it'll go from there. But worry about today. Worry about being the best version of yourself today, because you don't know the influences you could give off on a day-to-day basis without even saying words. You could have saved a life just by smiling at someone across the street or in another car. You don't know. There's no point in knowing. But the flow and the flex of life is so beautifully balanced that that person needed to see that smile. So lead by example. Be the best version of yourself you can be. And let the universe take care of the rest. Just worry about today. That's what I have for you folks today. Hope you liked it. Comment anything you want me to talk about, any questions, and we will go from there. Thank you for your time, folks. Have a good one.